So, but, you know, it's.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Queen City Toastmaster. I'm David Jones. I am the Sergeant at Arms. And tonight we have a speech where I am the speaker tonight. Therefore, I'm not going to talk a lot right now. I'm just going to go ahead and introduce our president, who is actually in person for the first time about a month and a half. He's been in Dominican Republic on an extended vacation. So please welcome Elvis. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be back. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honorable guests. Welcome to Queen City Toastmasters. Tonight we have an interesting meeting. It's going to be a very educational, informational one. And as always, we would like everyone also to participate. So everyone will have an opportunity to speak. Before we start, I would like to go ahead and recognize the presence of our guests. And I see some guests that are online and also here in person. So I will go ahead and pass on the mic to those who are in person, and then I'll come back and call upon the guests that I see that are on Zoom. So hold on a second. I will do the round with our guests in person. So starting with,
What would you like me to say?
you will tell us your name, how did you learn about our club, and what's your goal today?
My name is Jackie. I heard about Toastmasters from a coworker because I do not enjoy public speaking at all. And I would like to become the best public speaker ever through Zoom and in person because Zoom is terrifying.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You are very welcome, and you are in the right place. And I will continue with this gentleman here. Please tell us your name. How did you hear about our club, and what's your goal today?
My name is Mike Mendez. I was actually referred to here by a friend of mine. And I'm here because I'm a super introvert and I hate public speaking. So I'm just looking to get better.
Great to hear. And we have here Xavier, who is almost a member. I've seen you several times, so let's go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right. My name is Xavier. I've been attending Toastmasters for a month and a half. And how I heard about Toastmasters is I was just going online trying to find a community to join, and Toastmasters was a best option for leadership and building my public speaking.
Thank you. You are in the right place. And last but not least here. Yep.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sebastian Irani. I've known about Toastmasters for a while and actually considered attending for quite some time, but never really took the action until this week. I have a fair bit of anxiety related to public speaking and generally try to avoid a state of panic when I get in front of a group. So I figured jumping into an in-person group like Toastmasters would be a good way to overcome that. So excited to be here.
It's great to have you here. And now I will continue with, I can't see your name, but I can see you. So please unmute yourself and tell us your name. How did you hear about Toastmasters and what's your goal tonight?
So I heard about Toastmasters. Oh, first, can you hear me okay there?
Yes.
Perfect. So I heard about Toastmasters a while ago where someone said that Obama used to be a part of Toastmasters, and they heard my voice and said that I should look into it if considering being an effective leader and public speaking. And so I thought it'd be a good opportunity to kind of build off of that and grow in those areas where I have questions, how to really keep it going if we're, in a public format. So
Great. Thank you for sharing. You are in the right place. Welcome. And I see another guest that just joined on Zoom. Please, can you unmute yourself? Tell us your name. How did you hear about our club? And what's your goal tonight?
Hey guys, is that me you're talking about or?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, my name's Jeff Naris. This is pretty cool. So can everyone see me or is it just you?
It's just me in front of you, and there's a group of other people here in person as well.
Very cool. I'm sorry I was gonna try and make it out tonight, but I just got a little bit caught up after work. So my name's Jeff Naris, and Toastmasters is something I've really heard about from a lot of people over the years. Great place to, learn public speaking and how to lead a group of people in a team. So that's nothing I've really done or been a part of other than maybe like a sports team, trying to lead the charge in a sports team. But at work, I'm trying to get ahead a little bit and, pretty soon probably be a manager or even like a director of marketing is what I want to do one day. So trying to learn how to, just be a better speaker and better leader for an organization.
Great, great. Thank you so much. And I have good news for all of you. All of us here have joined Toastmasters for the same reason. Either we want to be better speakers or better leaders or both. So you are in the right place. And there's no secret sauce. It's all about just showing yourself and doing it. Face your fear, do it. Try to practice. And this club offers the opportunity for all of us to do it in a safe environment. There's no judgment, just the opportunity for us to practice and get better at it. So, jumping into the content of our meeting tonight, I would like to introduce the person who is going to lead us throughout this meeting. Every week, we have a member of the club who volunteers to be the Toastmaster of the day. Tonight, the Toastmaster of the day is our VP of Education, Toastmaster Eric Laxer. Please help me welcome our Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Elvis. Welcome back. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honorable guests. As Elvis said, I'm Eric Laxer, and I am the Toastmaster of the day. And for our guests, as you will see, many people have signed up for specific roles that we're going to come up here and do. And one of the most common roles is Toastmaster of the day. And my job is to basically decide on a theme for the meeting and lead the meeting by introducing people and make sure that we stay on time and that the meeting has a good flow to it. And the theme that I picked today, and I stepped in at the last minute because we didn't have a Toastmaster earlier today, but I decided to pick a theme that I titled Toastmasters. It's all about you and it's all about us. And the reason I worded it that way is because, similar to what Elvis said, the reason most of us came here to begin with and the reason most of us continue to come is because there's value for ourselves in being part of a group like this. You really do get to stand up in front of people and work on and practice public speaking and also leadership roles. And just to give you an example of my own personal story, which I've said here before, I joined this club about 1.5 years ago. Prior to that, I had done public speaking, mostly with a PowerPoint slide and words up on a screen that I could use as a cheat sheet. And I became very comfortable speaking that way. And I always was very uncomfortable speaking this way. But somebody had told me about Toastmasters, and during the pandemic, I checked out several clubs online and decided to come to this club because it was really the only club that was having in-person meeting options. Every other club that I looked at was Zoom only, and this club very early on converted to a hybrid option, which really has been great. And even after doing Zoom a couple of times, the first time I came here, I pulled up in the parking lot and I started to get really stressed out about coming into a Toastmasters meeting and not knowing anybody and being faced with the situation of coming up to speak. And I thought to myself, you know, I was early and I said, Eric, you can back your car up and you can leave and all your stress is going to go away just like that. Or you could just suck it up and you can walk through that door in the back and potentially have a life-changing experience. And that's exactly what happened to me. So it's good that we have several guests here today who are considering joining Toastmasters. And I would encourage you, if it's something you find value in, do not hesitate. Do it. You will definitely not regret your decision. So there are a couple of things I want to include in our theme tonight. One is when different people from our club come up here and talk about their roles and do their roles, I'm going to ask that each of them just share some Toastmaster story. It could be the first time you came to a club meeting. It could be why you joined, or it could be how Toastmasters really helped you in other aspects of your life, either your personal life or your professional life at work. So you'll get to hear other people's experiences as well. The second part is you heard from Elvis, you heard from David, and when Elvis introduced me, I'm the Vice President of Education. We have officers in this club and we have elections every year for officers, and the next elections are coming up in a few months. And so at the end of the meeting, Elvis is going to give you just some presidential information about the club and how to become an officer and things like that. So without further ado, I'd like to move on to the next portion of our meeting. And I'd like to introduce one of our Toastmasters who will be giving an inspirational thought. Please join me in welcoming Toastmaster Andrea Williams.
Thank you. Say thank you to our Toastmaster of the day, our TOD. And what if we could come into a place? A lot of you said you want to come to a place where you felt like, kind of like the Cheers song, where everybody knows your name. Everybody, you know, that's what I think of when I come to Toastmasters. What if there was a place where you could go? Well, not only that everybody knows your name, but they inspired you to literally do what you have in your dreams. That thing that keeps you up at night, that thing that you cannot put down. What if they just were there to tell you you could do it? Kind of like a cheerleader section. That's what I find when I come into Toastmasters. And it's a fun, interactive way for us to come together and create messaging that actually resonates with other people. Because a lot of things we say in our mind, we think that nobody wants to hear what I have to say. Nobody cares. I mean, how many times has someone told you, nobody cares anyway? So why are you telling me about this? And you can see it on people's face. They just go blank. You're talking to them and all of a sudden they're like, is she still talking? We don't have to worry about that at Toastmasters, because once you get this mic, once you are handed that gavel, once that gavel goes down, everybody here is here to listen. Everybody is here to encourage. Everybody is here to ignite, inspire your imagination for you to pursue your passions. So today, why don't you just speak up? Because we're here to listen. Back to you, Toastmasters.
And we were lucky enough to hear her once. We're even luckier because we're going to hear from her twice, because Andrea is also our grammarian. So please join me in welcoming her back to the front of the room to describe the grammarian role and let you know what's involved. One more time for Andrea.
So if you haven't known, I did say the word of the day because I had the inside scoop on what the word of the day was. And the word of the day today is inspire. And it actually says in the definition, it was so interesting that you had talked about that the stress would leave you if you just left, right? Well, one of the definitions for inspire is to breathe in and inhale. And they can expand their lungs and inspire enough gas to satisfy oxygen requirements. I thought that was just interesting that came up. So sometimes we think that because we have this anxiety, we can't be inspired. Because we don't say the right things at the right time. We don't know when to stop. We don't know when to go. We don't know where to start. So if you think about it that way, you'll think of the word inspire to help you want to help others be inspired too. So that's where I'm going with that for today. My role as the grammarian, not only to come up with this inspiring word of the day. Yeah, I'm gonna keep using the word inspired because I can. But not only to come up with the word of the day, but to make sure that when you're using your words, you're using them correctly, and that you do take that pause and that break instead of saying and so, and on and on and on. So to make sure that we are all kept in line and grammatically correct, we will be inspired to speak up and speak loudly so that we can breathe in and move forward. I was asked, oh, you can clap. I was asked to talk about my adventures with Toastmasters. I was sharing with one of our guests today that I had just got through with the contest. And honestly, the reason why I joined Toastmasters is because I had found out about the speech contest. And someone told me, you know what, I think you would be a great person to do the speech contest. And I was like, no way am I doing that speech contest. And I was groomed and coached and prodded and I've done it twice now. And what I can say I learned from it was not the trophies that you get from it, or, you know, I didn't win the first place or whatever your thought of winning. My winning was that I did it. My winning was that all of those people on every platform that I spoke up on for the last 2 years heard my message. They know who the chocolate butterfly is because I've told them who I was through my messaging. That is the purpose of the contest. The contest is to share ideas and inspire somebody else with your story. And I came to Toastmasters thinking that I literally was going to walk out that door. I came in the door, but I have this stupid thing called a nut allergy. And I was like, well, I'm gonna go in. Okay, I'm gonna go in. All right, I'm going in. And then I saw snacks on the table and I was like, oh, that's my out. So if there's nuts on the table, I don't have to stay here. And there was nothing but nuts in it. I mean, I looked, and I don't know if anybody knew, but I looked at every package and there was no nuts in the building. And I said, okay, guys, you funny. So I had to stay. And the first day I spoke up. The second day I spoke up, and the more I spoke, the more comfortable I got and the more I learned. I've become a VP of another club. I'm a part of Advanced Toastmasters Club. I'm one of the people that I feel inspires and attracts others to this club because I showed up, because somebody else may not have had the courage because they didn't think they belonged. But I found people here that were female, that were African-American, that were white, that were Mediterranean, they were Asian, and they all resonated with me because they wanted to speak and inspire too. And that's why I'm still at Toastmasters. Back to you, Toastmaster Eric.
Thank you, Andrea. For those of you not familiar, one of the things that Toastmasters does twice a year is they hold an international speech contest, and there are different categories you can compete in. And so Andrea last year and this year competed in 2 of the categories, and this year she represented our club and another club in the evaluation contest and what's called the international speech contest. And the contest is still going on at different levels now. If you're looking for inspiration when it comes to public speaking, one of the names we often use here is somebody named Zig Ziglar, who was a well-known public speaker and taught sales techniques. And one of the things that he has said that gets repeated quite often is that the difference between a good speaker and an excellent speaker is 1,000 speeches. The implication being that, like anything, the more you do, the more comfortable and the better you become at doing that. One of the important things about speaking is staying on time. And in order to give us feedback about our timing, we have a timer, and I'd like to introduce and give him an opportunity to explain his role. This is one of our newer members, and I believe this might be the first role he is doing, although he has spoken before. So please join me in giving a very nice, warm, comforting welcome to Toastmaster Bill.
Thank you very much. This is a first shot at this timing game, and one of the first things is, let me get my glasses on here, is that when we have the speeches, the speeches are going to be the 5 to 7 minutes, and in that time, when the green light comes on at 5 minutes, then that light, I will punch that light on, and then the yellow light will come on at 6 minutes, and then the red light will come on at 7 minutes. Right. Thank you. And then when we go to the tabletops, which is going to be a little bit later down the agenda, I think, and there we have, you get a window of about 1 minute to 2 minutes. The green light comes on at 1, and then the yellow light comes on at 1.5, and then the red light comes on at 2. Bear in mind, even if the red light comes on, you still got about 30 seconds to go ahead and try to close out whatever you were thinking about, particularly on your tabletop or on David's speech. And then finally, when we get to the evaluator of David's speeches and probably some of the other speeches, you'll have 2 minutes. We get the green, thank you, and then the yellow at 2.5 minutes. And then finally at 3 minutes, we'll get the red. Again, you get that 30 seconds to be able to close it out. So timing is a very important thing. And I'm here to do the best I can reading my clock, not my clock, my phone to see what the time is. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. A+. The next section of our meeting is one of the most exciting sections. It's where we hear from members who have done what are called prepared speeches. And the speeches that they give are usually part of modules that are that come from Toastmasters in terms of teaching us certain skills related to speaking. And the modules are part of what are called pathways. And so David, who I'm going to introduce in a second, is currently working on his visionary communication pathway. He just started this as a new pathway. So this is his level 1 speech, and it is an icebreaker speech. And he has a very special title. Please join me in welcoming David Jones, whose speech title is David Jones, MBA. Welcome, David.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is David Jones, MBA. In 2020, I got my master's in business administration. And the first thing I did was I went to my HR department and said, look what I have. When do I get a promotion? When do I get a raise? Do you have management training program? And my HR department said, congratulations on your accomplishment. We don't have any of that stuff. Now get back to work. Well, I work for a large insurance company, and I started applying for management positions. And I'd go in for an interview, and the interviewer would be something like, do you have management experience? I said, no, that's why I'm applying for this position, so that I can get management experience. And they'd say, well, this job requires 3 years management experience. And I'd say, I know that, but that's why I'm applying for the job, so I can have said experience. It's kind of a double-edged sword. You have to have it to get it, and then have to get it to have it. And it was a roadblock. But fortunately, at the time, about a year before that, I had joined Toastmasters. And I was asked to be treasurer of this club. Now, I just joined, like most of you, just to overcome my fear of public speaking. I didn't know what an officer was, or treasurer, or nonprofit, but but I decided to give it a try. I was interested in how nonprofit works, how the money comes in, how the money goes out. And I was treasurer for a year, and then I became president for a year, and then area director, which means you're over 5 clubs. And now I'm a division director over 20 clubs. But it all started back at the club level. And managing a club is very similar to running a department at a company. You have to work with others. You have to work within a budget. You have to deal with the finances. You have to deal with people above you. At Toastmasters International, they have certain rules and regulations for a club to operate, and we have to answer to people higher up, people like me. And then I have people above me that I answer to. So the club is sort of like running a department. It's the same. You have to do onboarding. Sometimes you have to have some disciplinary actions that you have to deal with. So you learn a lot in a club. Now, my day job is that of a workers' comp insurance auditor. And like most professions, we have our own professional association. We're the Auditors Association. We're very creative. And we have club levels locally, and we have regional, and then the national club. And I was always just a regular club member. But during the pandemic, like so many other associations, we struggled. You know, we had low membership. We couldn't do meetings or conventions. Insurance companies were not supporting us. We didn't have the funds. We had to consolidate some items, and we lost some members who either maybe retired or got laid off. But last year we decided to get the meeting or the association going again, and we needed some leaders. So I raised my hand. I said, you know, I've been at Toastmasters. I know how to run a nonprofit. I know how to do hybrid meetings. I know how to do budgeting. I know how to do marketing. I know how to get members. So today I'm the vice chairman of the Southeast region, and I'm also running for president of the association nationally. And it all comes back to Toastmasters. Now, when I had this, I want to get this word in, I was inspired to go back to my human resources department. I said, hey, look at everything I've been doing. I've been doing Toastmasters. I've been doing the Auditors Association. And sure enough, that's what did it. Since becoming an officer in this club, I've gotten 2 promotions, and my income has gone up about 52% because of that, because I had that experience, that real life experience of being a manager and running clubs, and that's really helped me out a lot. And it also shows your company that you're not doing the minimum job requirement. You're going outside like tonight after work, and you're working on yourself. You're practicing your speaking. You might get into the leadership programs here and become a leader at the club and then move up the ladder. The other thing is, if you work for a company that has multiple offices or maybe retail where they have lots of stores, you know, part of the area director and division director is overseeing multiple clubs. And that would qualify you to be an area or regional manager at your organization, because you would have that experience. You'd know how to do it just from coming to Toastmasters. And that's why they call it, this is where leaders are made. It's really not just public speaking. Public speaking is a small part of the Toastmaster experience. The other part of it was many of us are really happy to be remote employees. You know, a lot of us are now working from home instead of going to the office. For 30+ years, I've been a remote employee. I've always worked from home. But what you're going to find is whenever promotions or opportunities come up at work, those of you working at home, including myself, out of sight, out of mind. They don't know who you are. You know, there's Jim at the office who's laughing with the boss and going out to lunch, and you might be more qualified, but he's in front of the boss. He's sitting there talking to him every day, and he's going to get the promotion over you. But what I've done is I work for a company with 1,600 employees. And there's 3 people that know what I do: my CEO, my division director, and my boss. And they all know that I'm in Toastmasters. They all know that I'm in the Auditors Association, because I let them know, because I'm doing it and I just promote myself. And that's why I've been getting promoted at work. So it's something that really can help you grow as you go along. And when you decide if you want to become an officer or not, and as Eric mentioned, in June, we're going to elect new officers. I believe there's 7 officers. And you can become an officer, even if it's something you're not even thinking about. It's like, I just want to learn to overcome speaking. But as you can see, you get to speak twice. As Sergeant of Arms, I get to introduce the meeting, and then I do a speech. And same with the president. He introduces, and then he be up talking later. So you get the chance to talk more as an officer. But if you become an officer, it's not just about your resume, it's about the club. It's about giving back. It's about helping others and everybody sitting here. Because this morning we didn't have a meeting. There was nobody available. So the board of directors got together and we made the meeting happen. And that's what it's all about, is just helping out others. And another Zig Ziglar quote that we talk about Zig a lot is you can get anything in life you want if you help enough other people get what they want. And by an officer, you can help plenty of people overcome their fear of public speaking. Mr. Toastmaster. Sir.
Thank you, David. Perfect speech to go along with our theme, which is Toastmasters. It's all about you and it's all about us. Bill, can you please join us and give us a timers report? Pardon? Come on up. Yes. And perhaps after you give your timers report for David, you can just share a few words about your journey and how you got here and so on.
All right. Well, thank you. David was right on 7 minutes. Perfect. So that was timing is awesome. And obviously his speech was awesome. Very, very motivating and inspiring, right? One of the things that I've liked about the Toastmasters is that it has structure. And just like we had an inspirational speech, and it brings the two elements I think that are very important. I used to be an educator, used to be a high school teacher, and also I used to be a flight instructor, or I still am a flight instructor. But both of those are very important, because if you find students who have a motivation to improve themselves, and then you give them a structured way to do it. In other words, like as a flight instructor, there's no way I'm going to go put a guy or gal into an airplane and say, go out and fly. No way, right? So they've got to understand all the aspects about the airplane. And then I'm going to be with them, helping them learn and helping them learn how to land and take off, or take off and land, right? So that's what I found very impressionable about what we're doing here, is that you look at the pathways that they're established out, that are sequenced out so that you can grow in each one of those things. And so that is one of the things that I find very inspirational. And I think that it's something that's going to hopefully will improve my my speaking ability. So thank you very much. And that's the timers report.
Thank you, Bill. This next section of our meeting is one of the most exciting that people really enjoy. And I'd like to introduce our current treasurer of our club, who is going to lead us in table topics. Please join me in welcoming Toastmaster Jamie. And Jamie, if you wouldn't mind maybe just mentioning something about your Toastmasters journey before you get started.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. So, well, first off, I'm happy to be your table topics master for this evening, but my journey, what brought me to Toastmasters, and I was talking to Jackie a little bit earlier, 18 months ago, and it was because I was tired and I was angry that my career was limited by the fact that I avoided public speaking. It just was a terrible source of frustration in my life. And I had a very acute example a few weeks before I walked through this door. And I said that was enough. I'm going to do something about this, and I'm going to get up here and I'm going to conquer this fear. I was also angry because I wasn't able to inspire others the way I wanted to be able to inspire, even on topics that I was really passionate about. And again, it's because I wasn't coming across effectively. And lastly, I was angry because this is something I'm really good at in other forums, in other formats, right? If it's smaller table or sitting around the table and that kind of conversation and facilitating a meeting, I'm really good at it. But here, getting up in front of a group, the rituals of standing up, walking in the front of the room, having your opening remarks, that was the breaking point for me. So that's why I joined Toastmasters, and it's been a fantastic experience. It's been everything I was hoping in terms of lots of opportunities to practice and get better at public speaking. And it's something that I've taken to heart in terms of joining and becoming a treasurer, because I do want to give back to the club, and I do think it's important to give everybody else the same opportunity. So that's a bit about me. My role as Table Topics Master, this is our opportunity to practice impromptu speaking. So by that, I mean, I'm going to invite up both our members and our volunteer or our guest to volunteer to answer a question. So I'll have a series of questions. You'll have 1 to 2 minutes to respond to those questions. At 1 minute, we'll have the green light go off. At 1:30, it'll go to yellow. And at 2 minutes, it'll go to red. And then there'll be a 30-second buffer. So let's start with our first volunteer, either on Zoom or in person. Xavier? Xavier is a regular up here for Table Topics. All right, I'll read your question, then I'll hand you the mic so the folk on Zoom can hear you as well. All right, so speaking of Toastmasters, and I know you're starting to think about your membership here, what would success look like after your Toastmasters experience?
Thank you. That is a great question, Jamie. What is success after joining Toastmasters? Success to me is being able to come up on stage here in Toastmasters in the meeting, or stepping up on stage elsewhere out in public, and being able to deliver a powerful speech with all the skills that I've learned through Toastmasters. You know, how to start my speech and how to end it with a call to action, with a conclusion, with something that can inspire somebody to say, oh, you know what? I liked what he had to say. I want to go up on stage and present my own speech. I believe that another thing that with the success of coming to Toastmasters on a weekly basis is to inspire someone else to join Toastmasters, to be a guest. I mean, whether you're in the parking lot for hours contemplating, you know, do I really want to go inside today? Or, you know, do I really want to present an impromptu speech? I mean, is it my time? You know, just warming up and feeling that need, that urge to, you know what, I want to deliver a speech today. I want to answer an impromptu speech. So that I say that being successful with Toastmasters is where I want to be.
I love it. That was everything I want my Toastmaster experience to be as well. Thank you, Xavier. Heather? Carla. Okay, Carla, fantastic. All right, I have a question for you as well then. So in terms of your experience in Toastmasters or any other volunteer organization, have you taken on a leadership role at an organization before? If so, why did you take that on?
Thank you for that question. I have taken on leadership roles in volunteer organizations and in my career. I'm inspired more so to do things like that because of the people around me. At work, I moved up into middle management over a period of time. And I think the ability to be able to speak spontaneously, to speak authoritatively, to speak with confidence definitely contributed to my career growth. And also, I think having a little bit of sense of humor at times really lightens up the load and people feel better about it. And right now, I don't feel too witty, but typically I'm a pretty funny person. And my sister says I should become a comedian when I grow up, but I haven't made it yet. So I would say that I am definitely a volunteer. I've been the president of organizations that are charitable organizations. I just spent a long weekend in my former home in Virginia doing a book sale for my former congregation. Thank you. And was able to help raise $18,000 over a 3-day weekend. And I was in charge of all the volunteers for that. And I don't even live up there anymore. So I've done a lot of those sorts of things. I've been a volunteer at PTA and with my kids. I've had a variety of roles. In my current Toastmaster club, I'm in your sister club, and there I am the secretary, and I help with all the direction of our club. We meet every other week and have a very quick conversation about it. So Toastmasters helped me to become a better leader. Even though I've already had experience, I'm pretty shy about the actual speaking in Toastmasters when you have to have it planned. So this is a really good thing for me. I'm growing as a person. Thank you for the question.
Fantastic, Carla. I think it's a great testimonial, someone who's been as involved and as engaged in their club as you. Other volunteers in the room. Taiki, welcome. All right, Taiki, your question. What else do you do outside? So Taiki's a member as well. What else do you do outside of Toastmasters to work on your public speaking? What are other ways that you practice and hone this skill?
So hi, my name is Taiki. I'm from Japan. And outside the Toastmasters, I work at a boxing gym. I'm a boxing trainer. And so basically when I coach people, it's all about communication. You know, if and a lot of kids who come to the boxing gym, they're very aggressive. And I have to, you know, tell them what to do nicely because boxing is if you're not good at boxing, you get hurt. It is what it is. And like I have to communicate that, and also I have to communicate like just being strong physically is not like, it's not the most important thing. It's all about like being strong mentally, like how to persevere, you know, when life gets tough. And so yeah, that's what I do outside of Toastmasters. Thank you.
Thank you, Taiki. This is by far my favorite part about Table Topics is you always learn something new about our membership and our guests as well. So I didn't know Taiki was a boxing trainer. All right, maybe we have time for one more question. Bill? Oh, wait, were you ready? Oh. Is that Jeff or Sebastian? Maybe Sebastian. I saw Sebastian's hands go up. All right. So, or is it?
Did you mean me? It's Chavez.
Okay. Sorry, I got the wrong name then earlier.
No worries.
All right. Okay. Yes, I have a question for you. So what is a leader you admire, and what are some of the qualities you would like to emulate in that individual?
I think a leader I admire is my church back home. So I moved to Charlotte in 2018, but back home in Maryland, where I'm from, there's this pastor. His name is Matthew Watley, and I admire his leadership because of the things that he says that he knows that he's going to do, but also how he can not only just talk about it, he can lead people towards fulfilling that desire to create a better situation for the community. And when I see people talk about things and also do it and help foster a relationship with the community and build and grow over a period of time, and you can see it, I think that's a powerful thing to be a part of and that I admire in a leader. So throughout time, the biggest thing that I saw is how he had a vision for cultivating a bigger environment and cultivating more to oh, I see a green paper. Does that mean stop?
It means you have another 30 seconds to go.
Okay. Okay. um I lost my train of thought. But when I saw that him, cultivate everything about being a part of a bigger community and growing and developing, seeing that formulate and come into reality was amazing. So my old minister Matthew Wiley, he was an inspiration.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And I love the idea of community, right? And having leaders who invest in a community. That's fantastic. All right, one more question. Jackie? What? Sure, you can absolutely sit down. All right, I'll bring you the mic. Hold on one second. All right, your question is a little similar, but a little different. So there's different speaking styles out there. So what is a speaker that you admire? And what is it about their style that you want to get better at, or something that you think makes them particularly effective?
So I was raised in the Catholic Church, and I never really listened. I never really received the message. So in 2015, I went through some difficulties with my cousin passing and decided to step foot into a Christian church. So when I went into that Christian church, I finally listened to the same types of messages, but it was translated differently. And I absolutely fell in love with the Christian church. So that pastor, his name is Pastor Rich in Miami, Florida. That's where I'm from. And honestly, overall, I still go to Catholic church. I still go to Christian church, but Christianity and the way that they translate the Bible and the way that they're more relatable to me and my lifestyle. That's how I learn. And so my Catholic grandma is not really excited about it and not really happy about it. But I told her, would you rather have me not understand it or have me understand it and translate that to people in my life who I would like to share that messaging with? So I would say Pastor Rich essentially showed me that path to speaking differently. And overall, the Christian church has been a great way to understand that message. Mic drop.
Thank you, Jackie. Or was it Jeff? I think that's, yeah. Okay, come on up. We'll just recycle questions. I'll ask you the same question that I asked to Xavier. So which one was it? So you're here at Toastmasters. So what would success look like for you after your Toastmasters experience?
Yeah. Glad I got that one, because a couple of the other two I'm not. Oh, yeah, sure. Glad that was the one I got, because I'm not sure I would have had a good, authentic answer to two of the last two that were asked. But I think success for me at Toastmasters is being able to walk up here like I am right now, speak in front of a group, and overcome the wave of anxiety that I'm currently battling through. It's difficult for me because I think I'm a very extroverted person, kind of as you said. In a small group setting, I feel really capable of connecting with people and leading and having meaningful conversations. But as soon as I get in front of a group like this, there's that blocker, right? There's that barrier. It's that forebrain limitation that stops all critical thought and makes it hard for me to communicate whatever the message that whatever the message is that I have. So yeah, again, I think success for me is just getting more comfortable with being in this position, and getting myself to a point where I can communicate as effectively and connect with people as effectively as I can in smaller group and one-on-one type settings.
Thank you, Sebastian. And sorry about the name mix-up earlier. All right, so that concludes our table topics portion. Thank you for all of our speakers, both members and guests. This is, again, a fantastic opportunity. Even if you come back and you don't sign up as a member right away, I encourage you to come back. And if you didn't do it today, then come up as a guest next time and participate in table topics. That's one of the key things we can do. We'll go to our timers report. So Bill, if you can.
All right, thank you. All right, make a couple of notes here. Okay. The tabletop, here's the timing. First, we have Xavier at 1 minute and 42 seconds. Very good. And then Carla, I have down for 1 minute and 50 seconds. And I think she said inspired too. And then Takey, did I get that right? Takey. And also was at 58, which is right on the at the green light. Chavez was 1 minute and 45 seconds. Is it Jackie, right? Yeah, Jackie was 1 minute and 50 seconds. And then Sebastian was 1 minute and 10 seconds. So everybody's on. Yes, sir. One to two. I asked that question a couple weeks ago with Leon, and he said the sweet spot is around 1 minute and 55 seconds. So go figure. I don't know. Thank you.
So just a couple more. So timing, when we take time, one of the things we use it for occasionally, certain meetings, we'll do a ballot and we'll vote for our favorite speaker. And that includes for table topics. So you have to stay within 1 to 2 minutes to qualify for that favorite speaker award. But at the end of the day, the timing is just another tool. It's about finding ways for us to make sure that we convey our thoughts within a specific time frame, because you're going to get invited eventually. Hopefully we all get invited to do speeches, and you're going to be asked to do it within a certain, window. And so this is good practice, just like anything else. All right. Thank you. I will now turn it back to our Toastmaster of the day.
Excellent. Thank you, Jamie. Well done. That was Table Topics Extended. The next portion of our meeting is perhaps the most important part of our meeting, and that is the evaluation portion, where we give and receive feedback for things that we've done so far today. And in order to lead us, please join me in welcoming one of our members who is also our VP of Marketing and who I believe is doing this role for the first time. So please join me in giving a warm welcome for Toastmaster Heather.
Thank you, Eric. Okay, I am Heather. I'll give you a little bit of a history about how I started as we're telling stories about the beginning. So my daughter, who is a college student, was taking a public speaking class at a local community college. And their public speaking class was recorded videos sent in. So it wasn't even Zoom. And I was appalled and wanted to inspire her to step into her fear and come to a public speaking class. And I'm friends with David. And so I brought her. I had no intentions on doing it, but I couldn't expect her to do something that I wasn't going to do myself. And it was a huge blown out fight. It was bad. There was tears, there was bribing, there was everything involved. So it was really bad. So when we got here, I had to volunteer to do table topics because I was like, I got to show her how to do this. And it was hard. It was really difficult. I couldn't even see anybody. It was total blank. Now I can look at you guys and it feels okay. But that's how I started. So she has not come back. I think she's come back once or twice, and now I'm here and helping support. And it's been amazing. I'm gradually getting better, but it's wildly uncomfortable. And I don't know if it'll ever go away, but I feel like I am definitely improving. So welcome, everybody. So my role tonight as a general evaluator is basically, I'm going to introduce the evaluator for David's speech, ask for a timers report, do my own evaluation of the meeting, ask for the grammarian, and then I'll return it back to the Toastmaster. So with that, I will introduce our evaluator, Elvis, who will be doing, is that correct? Evaluating David.
Thank you, Heather, General Evaluator. And before I go into my evaluation, I would also give a little bit of my story of why I joined Toastmasters. My boss, a few years ago, after I gave a presentation, told me, I know a group that would be really good for you. I think you should join. He was telling me, well, maybe the technical aspects of what you delivered were true and valuable, but the way you did it wasn't really very effective. So he asked me very nice and kindly to join Toastmasters. When I did it, the first time, I was really terrified. I was sitting at the back, and the second week I went back, I was called upon to participate at the table topics. And I really didn't know what it was about. I just wanted to go away, go back, and never come back. So I didn't even know what I did that day. I didn't know what I said because I was really terrified. But that actually gave me also the message and the courage to keep trying it, because I already told my boss, yes, I'm doing it. And he said, what day is the meeting? Because I want to go. And he actually came to one of those meetings. So it encouraged me really to try to be better at delivering speeches and becoming a better speaker. So it's a work in progress. We never cease to learn. And this is, as I mentioned at the beginning, it's something that we have to practice every day. So I really appreciate that he gave me that advice, and I've been having a great experience so far. So I've been here for a couple of years. Now, going back to the evaluation, now is when it's going to start. So timer reset. So thank you, David, for giving us another great speech. It's great to have you as a speaker tonight, given that it was given with very short notice. I like the way that you approached the audience with a very comfortable way of speaking, using storytelling. You gave us 3 stories, and your introduction was very humorous. So you started with your MBA path and how that didn't help in getting a better opportunity at your job. Then you went on pursuing a management position, and your MBA at that point didn't help. But later, you joined Toastmasters, and then you started to appreciate that the leadership knowledge and the experience that you were getting at Toastmasters get you somewhere. And then you started your delivery in your content with a very clear message that was based on leadership, how we should give ourselves our best, and how we have to become available. And that was the key. Promote yourself, become available, because the title is not going to give you everything that you need. You have to be present. And being a leader is something that also can be learned and also can be pursued. One of our goals in Toastmasters is become a better speaker and become leader. And both things you can achieve being Toastmasters. And David gave us 2 examples of how he has become a better leader. He has been known and seen at his job, and how he has progressed in Toastmasters as a club leader, giving himself for participating as a club officer, then as an area officer, then now as a division officer. One of the things that I liked was how you deliver your message. It was with such calm and pose and very clear. Even though we are fighting against that noise in the back of us in the room, I was able to clearly hear you. Now, one of the things that I would have liked to hear, even though it was a very clear message, was a connection at the end, giving us an impactful message or call to action. Something like, even though it is important that you pursue your titles and your education and everything, doing these other things is going to actually get the results. I think it was a wonderful, wonderful speech, and I look forward to hearing your next one. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Elvis. May we get a timer's report, Bill?
Now, I make a report also on David's, right? Yes? No, okay, on the evaluators. Okay, first Heather had the 2 minutes and 18 seconds. And then Elvis, we had 3 minutes and 48 seconds. Right, a little bit of a run over, but I thought it was great. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Okay, it's my turn. Now I get to evaluate. So in the beginning, Eric, our Toastmaster, spoke about it's all about you, and it's all about you, and it's all about us. And we're all here to improve, to get better. And one thing I know is public speaking is, I think, one of the biggest fears out there, next to death. So why not go big? Like, we're all here, like, trying and facing our biggest fears. And I do know that confidence comes from doing difficult things and following through. I know that what Zig Ziglar said, since we're on Zig Ziglar, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So I think that was really great, Eric. Andrea, our inspirational speaker, talked about dream builders and destroyers. And I'm all for building people up, but we all know that there are people out there, energy vampires, people that want to destroy dreams. I don't think they're doing anything cruel or intentional. I think that they haven't followed through with their own dreams, and they don't have that vision. So ideally, it would be great to be around a bunch of people that are dream builders, because we need to inspire each other to do things, even if it's outside of our realm of understanding, but to support them if that's important to them. I think that would be a beautiful world. Our grammarian winners showing up, which Andrea also was the grammarian. So we're all winners. We showed up tonight to be here to face our fears. So we should all be really proud. We've won today. That's a win for today. It doesn't matter how well we spoke. It doesn't matter if we went over time. It doesn't matter if we say ums, is, thens, whatever we're not supposed to say. It matters that we faced our fear and we got up here. We're all in the same boat and supporting each other. So there's no judgment. And that's comforting. Our timers report, Bill was on, but you timed me and I wasn't supposed to be timed. So thanks, Bill, keeping me on. Let's see. David's speech was awesome about management experience. I really love that. And it is an ironic thing to need to have management experience and have never been a manager. So that's very relatable. And I think we can all get that. Table topics, I think everybody did awesome. There was a lot of brave volunteers, especially new ones. And I felt like everybody did awesome, like way better than I did my first time. So I thought it was very inspiring. And nobody looked nervous, just to put that out there. Everybody went flawless. Even sitting, I thought that was really brave, like just to speak up and say what you needed in that moment to ask for yourself. And I loved listening to you speak, and you're really good. So thank you for being brave, to all of you. And now I will give it back to, what do I have? Oh, thank you. It's my first time. Forgive me. I get to say that only this time. I'll give it to Andrea Parker, Maryland.
Thank you, Toastmaster Heather, one of my newer friends in Toastmasters. So I was your grammarian today, and I gave everybody a challenge to use the word inspire. And so I have Eric, David, Bill, Jamie, Carla, Chevis, Heather. If I missed your name, please count it to my head, not my heart, because I was trying to listen for those filler words, which I like to call the F words. So who let go of the F words today? I have to say there were a few, and the first person, there was some F words left out, some some likes, one of the favorite ones today. A lot of people elongated their words today. So I'm gonna let you go back and listen to yourself, because we do tape this meeting, so you can go back and listen to yourself, and you elongate the words. So just take a deep breath and then start talking instead of saying while you're thinking, because that becomes a filler word, or like I like to say, the F-bombs. And so those were the wonderful filler words that were left out today. Then there was some special words that I got out of this meeting. David, what do I get? Done all this, what do I get? That was funny to me, because I did the same thing as City of Detroit, and they looked at me like, yeah, whatever. Learned a lot of syllables. That was what I wanted. David did something really interesting. He was trying to get the word out, disciplinarian. I think that's what he was trying to say. And he was like, disciplinary. But it kept him from doing filler words, but it became a filler word because of the way he did it. So I meant to tell you that. So that was funny to me. I've done that before, because it's some words that I can't say correctly. So I used to say them like really slowly to get them out. And let's see, I just did it. Let's see, it was inspire. I was inspired. Do what you want others to be. Do what you want, and others will be inspired to do what they want. That was from David. It is my time. Xavier. These were all the inspirational things that I got out of everyone's messages today. Inspirational. See, there's one of the words. Inspirational messaging. Some messages from different people. They may say the same thing, but they say it a different way, and you may get it or you may get it. But if that other person didn't stand up there, you wouldn't be lost. You might save a life by just getting up and standing up. So that was something I got out of your message. Spontaneous and authoritatively. Carla, that was awesome. Let's see where we at. I got some more. Oh, love the way Bill, the timer, he kept us on time. He's still keeping us on time. And so on and on, he kept saying it. To keep us inspired on time. And then leadership comes, this was from both David and from Elvis's evaluation. Leadership comes with experience, being available to be seen, heard, and connected to be promoted. So if we change our mindset of the experience is just actually doing the job, but actually being seen, leading. So I'm a leader in my position, but my position is not supervisor. So that's kind of where you get your experience. So we changed that. So I was inspired. Oh, and last one, go gig or go home, or don't go home is what I said. That was from Heather. And I was inspired today to come up with 2 speeches of my own. And one is build your resume. And the other one is a chance for a lifetime. So be looking out for, to keep me accountable to be inspired and to inspire you to do what you want. Back to Toastmaster Heather.
Thank you, Andrea. One thing that I started doing that helped me, because we're all on social media, most of us, unless you're lucky and you're not, but is I started talking on my stories and listening to I say a lot of ums and so's, but I really noticed it more. And I encouraged myself to speak more on my stories to practice some of my speaking. So that might help. I haven't done it in a minute, but like it helped me a lot. It's helping. So that might be something you could try too with the ums and so's. I'll give it back to Toastmaster Eric. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather, and all of our evaluators. And thank you to all of our speakers and participants in tonight's meeting. I have 2 things that I just want to mention. One is you've all seen us standing and holding a microphone here, but probably wondering, well, where's the sound coming from? The microphone is only for Zoom, so you don't hear the speakers here in the room. And the second thing is somebody made reference to watching us on video. I think it was Heather or Andrea. And we do record our meetings. You can go to our YouTube channel and you can watch this meeting. And if you spoke, you'll hear and see yourself. That's a wonderful way we all also get feedback. So we wanted to have some time to talk about some officers things, but we're running late. And I will bring this part of the meeting to a close, and I will hand the microphone over to our president for announcements and anything else he feels is important to share. So once again, please join me in welcoming Toastmaster Elvis back to the front of the room.
Thank you. Please help me with another round of applause to our Toastmaster of the day. Excellent job. And now, before we close our meeting, like Eric said, we would like to share some special information about the club and some of the things that are happening as part of our goals as a club. And to make it really short, because I wanted to put a PowerPoint presentation, but in the essence of time, I'm going to minimize it and just leave it with a simple message. We are getting to one of the milestones at the end of the month of March, which is basically the end of the 6 months. Are you saying no? Well, yes, but yes. Okay, so those are 2 things, yeah. So the first thing, which is actually the treasurers in the treasurer's world, is the dues that are coming up at the end of the month of March. As one of our goals, we have set 4 main goals as a club. The first one is we're always pursuing being a president distinguished club, which is one of these ribbons that you see here is given to the club that have met certain goals. One of those goals is being a distinguished club. The next one is a select distinguished, and then the top one is President's Distinguished. We have been President's Distinguished for several years, and one of our goals this year is also to becoming President's Distinguished. So that means we have to complete 9 goals, 9 Toastmasters goals. So far, we have met 7. So we're up only 2 goals left to be President's Distinguished. Those 2 goals are based on our members completing their pathways levels. Level 1s, level 2s, and level 3s. Those members who are currently on pathways would know what that entails. And we would like to encourage all of our members to continue giving speeches every week so that we can then meet our club goals. So you meet your individual goal, and we as a club also meet our club goals. So one of those goals is being presidential. The next goal is to have up to 40 members in this club. And today we have 31, but on March 31st, and that's the milestone that I was talking about, there's a reset. And then we have to have the club dues already paid for so that we have our membership current after March 31st. So the members who have not been made themselves current with the dues, please do so before March 31st so that we can also meet our club goals. The other 2 goals that we have, I mentioned we have 4. So we want to be President's Distinguished. We're very close to it. The other one is meet the goal of having 40 members. We have 31. We've had 17 new members so far in this period, and some new members that are continuing to enroll. Thank you so much to all the new members. We will keep working on our club meeting goals so that you continue to be inspired to join our club. So those who have joined already, thank you so much. We're very close. The other one is we set our goal also to be 100% on pathways education. So that means all of our members need to be enrolled in pathways so that we can then pursue our club goals by members completing their level of education or their level of achievements as a Toastmaster. So we have currently 84% of our club members enrolled in pathways. We would like to encourage everyone to join pathways. And I think that's all. Now, the other part that David was alluding to first is every year we have to elect new club officers. We all are here as volunteers. So I'm the president now. Next June, we will be electing a new board for the club. So we need new president, new VP of education, new treasurer, new sergeant at arms. The positions are repeatable. Some may repeat, some may step down, and then we need the replacement. So we would like to encourage all of you to also exercise your leadership and volunteer to do something for the club. Remember from Davis' speech tonight, it was not until he was made seen that things started to happen. So I would like to encourage all of you, those who are already members, to seek for information about what is needed to perform some of those club officer roles. You are all eligible to be a club officer. You just need only to be a member in good standing. So all of you qualify. If you're a member, you qualify for officer role. So I would like to, and also I would take and speak for the whole board here, that we would like to encourage all members to seek for information on how to volunteer for club officer roles. We need it, and in 3 months, we need to have new leaders of this club. Now, I would like to ask for our officers if there's any additional information, anything that I have missed or things that you would like to add. If not, it's already a little late. I would like to thank you all for joining us tonight. It's been a great meeting. The invitation to come next week, we are open every Tuesday, both online and in person, with another wonderful Toastmasters meeting. Thank you so much and good night, everyone.